I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we express to foster unity amongst the NFT community. Today we have an incredible guest with us, Miss Melanie McClain. She's a New York-based publishing A&R at Secretly Group, 2021 Billboard Change Agent, founder of the Blurred Lines community, and Web3 world builder. In her 12 years in the music industry, Melanie held roles as the U.S. Hip Hop and African Music Content Specialist at U2 Music, experiential music manager at Budweiser, and staff writer at Solange's St. Heron. In every area of her life, Melanie is passionate about amplifying the next generation of tastemakers and support world building creatives on the continent, across the diaspora, and in the metaverse. In the metaverse. Wow, this is absolutely incredible, Melody. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing.
You are so very welcome. Let's dive right on in. I would love for you to share your story, BC, before crypto.
Before crypto, I got into crypto in about 2017, being a collector of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and different currencies like that. And before that, I was a music lover. I was a music lover in college, a music lover in high school, and before that. And within high school, I was the person that you always shared music to, who he suggests music that will be in theater productions. And in college, when I was pre-med, I connected with a musician at the time named G-Eazy, and helped him in the early stages of his career. And throughout my 20s, I was just trying to find ways to just amplify musicians that I love and really help to know their stories and how to build out that story. And I did that within the corporate setting, within, places like Budweiser and places like in advertising agencies, as well as being an artist manager. And I feel like I'm really excited about the world of crypto because it allows me to do that same world building and bring it all together.
Wow, that's really cool. First of all, what sparked this interest from the very beginning of stepping into this crypto space? What was that first spark?
I think the first start was, having those friends who were just outside thinkers. I first learned about crypto around 2013. I did not invest back then, unfortunately, but just having friends that hear about it, talk about it, just to open your mind and trusted sources. And also just being someone who's really into investing in great ideas. I was into the world of stocks, and I saw a lot of similarities into that in stocks and crypto. So when I finally got into crypto, which felt like so late, but we're all still early. Um, it allowed me to really feel like I'm just being an innovator and learning how to invest in myself in a way that, you know, the way that, you can just get in really, really early, and you can feel like every time you tell someone about crypto, you're exposing them to a whole new way of life that they might not have known about.
This is true. Gold. So you mentioned this when you said, I'm getting in what feels so late, but it's actually still early. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, in the crypto community, I think the most commonly used phrase is "we're early." It's almost kind of like a way on the internet, on Twitter and Discord, Clubhouse, to say like a way of hugging someone, say, "Don't worry." Like this isn't mainstream. Um, I'm learning this, you're learning this, you're teaching me things, you're teaching me that. And when we say the words "you're early" is an embodiment of all those things. And I think that 2013 was a really, really long time ago. And that's, it's the end of 2021, and it feels like, oh, wow, that was such a big gap of time. I didn't invest in Bitcoin and people are using it to buy pizza. I wasn't buying NFTs years ago when people were getting crypto punks, or, you know, I didn't make my first NFT in 2020, even though if I knew about NFTs. And it's like all like a list of things that we wish that we did, but at the same time, we're all adding value. We're all building our own communities, and we're all onboarding and connecting people to this space. So, we're still early, and just reminding people that consistently. And I have to remind myself that as well when I like connect with my peers and getting them into the space. I remind them, says, you're not late either. You are ahead of someone else. You are still an early adopter. I mean, you can build some great things that if you didn't create it, it would not exist.
So very true. So very true. So I understand, and you've had some experience working as a music manager at Budweiser. I read earlier in your bio. Can you share with us your experience working in these roles and how you're applying that into what it is that you do now in the NFT space?
Definitely. So the role that I live in New York City, and the role that took me from Chicago to New York was working at Budweiser, where I was the experiential music manager. And essentially, that just means Budweiser, as well as like other brands, they throw a lot of events at big festivals. So it might be Stagecoach, it might be Coachella, it might be numerous great festivals. And you'll see the brand there, you'll see a place where you can buy their product. And I was the person that helped do that activation, help set up that event, as well as help connect with artists in the world of country music, hip hop, and other genres, and help them connect with us in brand partnerships. And I see so many similarities as a world builder in the crypto space in the NFT world, just because the same way that a brand like Budweiser can work with an artist like you know Thomas Rhett, a big country star, right, or work with a brand like Rock Nation for Made in America Festival. At the same time, a submerging thought leader or creative can build something in a digital space called the metaverse, and they can build something out. So yeah, they might not have a Rock Nation partnership today, but at the same time, maybe they might be the next Rock Nation, or they can build the next festival that might be the Made in America Festival, or they might not be Beyonce playing at Made in America Festival, but they can be someone in the community who's really leading things, and they can be a headliner in this new space. So I think a lot of us coming from our traditional backgrounds, whether it might be in marketing, maybe music, we have a lot of value to add when it comes to building this new world and building new economies.
Yeah, so very true, gold. So I understand that there's different strategies that you use to find this talent. Are there do you use the same strategies now to find talent in the NFT space? How does that work?
I actually think there's a lot of similarities. It really is. My day job, I'm a publishing A&R at Secretly Group, which is one of the biggest, most popular indie companies that has artists like Bon Iver, Phoebe Bridgers, Mitski, and others. And before that, I was a playlist curator who picked music that was featured on streaming services, and I was in charge of hip hop as well as doing African music. And within the NFT space, I think it's very similar when it comes to a project that I own like Bored Ape, right? It's about at that time, creative licensing wasn't the norm. You typically own an NFT, and you were not able to put it on a hoodie like this, or put it on a mug, or to become a musician, and that be your avatar. That was not the norm. And the fact that you have the creative license allowed creatives to make their own derivatives of this and their own remixes of this art. the same way that I can see when I worked at YouTube, I would see artists like Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, oh wow, the way that she raps, the way that she amplifies that she's from Texas, the way that she's loves that she's a tall woman, and that's really really unique. And using those same skill sets of like, no, there's a lot of rappers, there's a lot of women who rap, but Megan Thee Stallion is really really distinctive, and this is why. I looked at that same way to look at an NFT project like Bored Ape to say, okay, I see the behaviors. What this project is really unique. Let me invest my hard-earned money into it. And thankfully, it connected me to an amazing community, and it became a great financial investment.
Ooh, yes, let's dive into that a bit more. The financial investment that you just said that you made in diving into the community of Bored Ape. Can you share with us that? Because I recall us talking about how it's opened up so many doors for you being part of this Bored Ape community.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Bored Ape Yacht Club, or you might see BAYC, the different variations of it. It really opened a lot of doors. And, like I said, I'm not an artist in the traditional sense. Therefore, I'm not selling art to making crypto and getting paid back. Like every NFT I bought comes from my normal salary. So everything I buy, I really, really am careful about something that I believe in and something that I think is really interesting. And at the time, I believe the project cost 0.08 ETH, which is the price of Ethereum goes up and down. So let's say $100. Now I'm not going, to the grocery store and paying $100 to buy like, a bag of chips. Like $100 is a lot for me. I'm not getting the gold plated chips. So $100 means a lot to me. But when I bought it, I was in a Clubhouse room, a platform that I'm really active on. And everyone in that room changed their profile photo to it. And I saw a different user behavior. And I think I spent 0.27 ETH at the time to buy it. And by doing that, I saw the price of it going up as people saw that FOMO feeling and they bought into it later. Like, oh, wow, I didn't buy it at 0.27, but I'll buy it at 1 ETH or 3 ETH. And now I think it's worth maybe 40 ETH or so, which is something that I could not afford to buy. So I think the cool thing about it, if you buy a great project, people will buy in later and the price of it will go up. And I'm just grateful that I got in when I did.
Yes, yes. So what are some benefits that you've seen in being part of this community?
Yes, the biggest benefits I've seen it's helped me think more as we call it, a builder or entrepreneur. Just because it's not just that this is a JPEG and you own it. It's the idea that people have literally launched physical clothing brands. People have worked with cool craft breweries and put their NFT on it. I've seen people do great meetups, and it's brought an entrepreneurial spirit that was probably always in me, but I was not fully executing before, as well as just because of the financial, how much it's worth now, and the fact that it happened 5 months ago is kind of a signal now that you are an early adopter, someone who was knowledgeable in this space. And because of that, I had a lot of amazing people in the tech world as well as the music industry who reached out to me for advice or for consulting on the NFT space. And if I did not own this ape, I will be that same person. But by having that NFT as my profile photo on Twitter and Clubhouse and LinkedIn and airtime and things like that, it allows me, people say, okay, like there's an ape in the room. And I'm like, I'm not sure I like the term of that, but the idea, that's how people refer to it. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm Melanie. But at the same time, when people have this NFT, typically they're associated with someone who is really invested into space, especially if this something is worth a lot of money now. The fact that I did not sell it means that I still want to be in this community, and I still see value of going to their events, to be in their Discord server, and learning more about the new things that the company, the platform does. And I could have just cashed out and sold it months ago, but I still want to be in the community. And that's why we say we're NFT rich. We might not be fiat rich, cash rich, but we say we're NFT rich. But at the same time, if we're building things, it's worth it.
NFT rich. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to dive deeper into the 5 steps to use NFTs and Web3 to build your world. So you're listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM radio with our incredible guest, Miss Melanie McClain. I'm doc.PEACE, and we'll be right back.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good?
And we're back. You're listening
Pardon
to
my
Golden Sessions
mind.
with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. I'm doc.PEACE, and we're here with our incredible guest, Melanie McClain. Let's get back into it. So before our break, we were sharing more about how you started this clubhouse, and I believe the name of it is Blurred Lines. Can you share more on what this clubhouse was about and why you launched this community?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a community that I built November of 2020, when we were, before we were vaccinated, before we were going out doing things. And it was a way for me to connect with people internationally and share things that we love. And I'm really passionate what I call like genre blurring music. So it might be Afrofusion music out of West Africa. It can be, Black alternative artists in, the UK. It can be, Amapiano in South Africa, whatever it might be. And we'll have people, every week from, Nigeria, Sweden, London, Atlanta, Chicago, Brooklyn, gathering every single week. And on Fridays, we talk about new releases from these artists. And then on Saturdays, this is where we have showtime at the clubhouse, where we share music that we love, new or old. And again, we have like playlists for Friday. Every Friday, we have a new Music Friday playlist. Every Saturday, we upload the Showtime at the Clubhouse playlist. And, as a music head, since me playing the piano at like 4 years old, I've always loved music. I always loved international music. And as someone who's grown into the world of Web3 and NFTs and different blockchains, it allows me to integrate this into a place that someone might not want to be in a traditional tech room. But if I kind of add a little bit of like NFT spice into a music conversation, it helps maybe a young guy in Nigeria learn about this, or it helps a young woman who's based in South London learn about this, that they might not be in a traditional tech space ever, but they are in right now because it's inclusive and it's meant for them.
Yes, I love that. This really speaks to me. Once you started mentioning the African music, my body just started dancing. Can't help it.
I'm a piano song or Afrobeat song kind of came into your soul. It took over you.
Right? So I would love for you to dive deeper into these 5 steps that we can use to really build our world, and specifically using NFTs and Web3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the first thing is really kind of realizing what communities make you feel most seen and understood. And if that doesn't exist, well, that's the first step. First step is kind of like where in your life, whether it was a certain musician and when you walked into that concert, you're like, these are my people, like I felt when I first went to Salsa Lounge at like Afropunk Festival or Pitchfork Festival. And, when she sings, this is for us, by us, singing the song Fubu, those are my people. You know what I mean? Looking around and you see a Black man, a Black woman around you, or another person who appreciates the experiences of Black people, and you're like seeing it and you're pointing, that's where I feel understood. But at the same time, Salon doesn't have a concert every single week. So I think about that moment and I'm like, okay, now how can I channel that? And that's step 2. Step 2 is, okay, if I don't feel that, when are those moments in my daily life, in my weekly life, that I feel like, I wish I had that feeling? And that's for me on Fridays. Every Friday, for us a little bit older, remember releases used to come out on Tuesdays, but now they come out on Fridays. And every Friday when new songs come out, I'm like, I wish I was surrounded by people like at that Solange concert. I wish I could talk about this with people. So step two, that's like you got to channel one of those moments that you wish that. And step three is starting small and realizing what tools do you have. Are you active on Twitter? Are you active on Clubhouse, Airtime, Discord, whatever it might be, right? And say, okay, I have the power of the phone in my hand. And that's what I did back in November in 2020. I said, okay, this award show happened in the UK. I'm really excited about the winners. I'm going to make a title in the Clubhouse room about that and see who shows up. If it's one other person, we're having that one-on-one conversation. That's more than I would have had this whole day, this whole week. And if more people come in, even better. And that's kind of how I started that community. So it's just the big thing is the biggest hump is step three. You might know where you feel understood. Step two might be like, okay, in your daily life where you wish you had this community. But three is like you have to start creating it. And when it comes to like really build out your world, step four is empowering the people in your community, the people who do show up, the people who speak up, the people who you see, are excited to show up every week or once a month, whenever you have this. Really talk to those people, get to know their stories, see value in them, champion their wins too. And step five is really working hand in tandem together and saying, okay, when it comes to a platform like NFTs and Web3, it's about things of like, okay, if you create something called social tokens, every time someone shows up, they get that NFT that says they were there, or if they show up, they get a certain number of social tokens. It might be building something into like a virtual world, what we call the metaverse, places called crypto voxels and Decentraland. It might be connecting with someone else in that community or another community and say, hey, you have a little plot of digital land, what's called a parcel. Can we throw an event in this art gallery have? Can we have like some of my friend from, Kenya, can they do a DJ set, and my friend, this person's going to bring their friends. And it's really about using NFTs, is using platforms like Decentraland and, crypto voxels and rewarding people for showing up. It's also, tapping each other's resources. I might have this, I might have that. One person might have the beats and the rhythms, another person might have the parcel of land, another person might have every friend in the world that they can bring over and that influence. And those are the 5 ways to do it. It's really just knowing kind of where you feel understood. 2 is really about kind of like realizing what in your day-to-day life that you really wish you had that community with you. 3 things like, okay, let me create a space that really embodies that. 4 is empowering the people around you and really making them step up. And 5 is using the NFTs, which is gifting them to people, whether it's, as I use the term, minting moments in the blockchain, the idea of like, if this event's happening, you're getting an NFT. Let's celebrate this one. Let's celebrate your win. Okay, you just passed the bar today in New York. Let's give you an NFT and the community is going to celebrate you. It might be like, okay, you're throwing a party, in a city that I don't live in because the other side of the world. Hey, let's help you make an NFT to give you a mission to get into that party. It can be any of those types of things, but like those are the 5 ways that I think that anyone can do it. No matter, for me as a lover of music and culture and fashion, someone else, they might be into real estate, they might be into wellness, but they can all do that to build up their world and really to connect with people internationally.
Gold. You get an NFT. You get an NFT. Everybody gets an NFT.
Hey, insert Oprah meme. Come on.
Let's go. So I know that Web 1 is when the internet first came out. Web 2 is when social media first came out. Can you define Web 3?
Yeah, I think Web 3 is kind of like the power is not just into a social media platform. The power is in the hand of the people. The power is not hierarchical. It's not that, okay, if I created this NFT, I'm more important than you, because someone can buy several of those NFTs and carry a lot of value with that. It can be about a community of a social token, and we are sharing. We're sharing the power of what can happen in this community, and we can all have voting power, and we can vote what our community does do or does not do. It's the idea that you can use a platform like GitHub and take someone like me who doesn't have a lot of coding knowledge and take some pre-existing things and to use that to build a new art project or to build out some cool, digital 3D avatar thing. So it's really about using pre-existing things. It's about building community and finding ways to create things that would not be seen. Versus Twitter is like, great, I love Twitter. I can post on that, but I don't have ownership of Twitter. I just add a lot of great things to it. But when it comes to Web3, it's shared ownership and it's shared value and it's building all together.
Gold. So can you dive into some of the current projects that you're working on and how we can get involved and support you?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. The biggest things that I'm doing is outside of, developing the Blurred Lines community is really working with emerging musicians. And as I said, I was a music journalist with Solange St. Huron. As a playlist curator, working with people like from Lizzo to Burna Boy at YouTube Music. And now I'm a publishing A&R who works with artists from around the world and gets their music in TV shows and films. And it's really helped me spot artists early. And to be frank, within, 9 or so months, be able to say, okay, this person's amazing. And within the next 9 months, they're going to have a write up in the New York Times, or they're going to be a song that we're all going to know, or, a lot of the times people might have been on the Billboard charts or win Grammys. And I've seen that happen numerous times over. But at the same time, I've thankfully had these jobs, and a lot of people have been fans. And they are, if I was in that concert, I might have been the A&R, I might have been the, the playlist curator, but they're the fan and they're there with me too. And they're in that 200 capacity room. And my first project is really about kind of creating like a VIP experience. And the idea, if we work directly with those musicians, we make a great NFT. Everyone who owns that NFT is like investing and minting that moment on the blockchain, that moment of their career, and finding ways that that person goes in their first European tour, that person wants to drop merch, making sure the people who are in that 200 capacity venue, they own an NFT, they get access to get those tickets. They're going to get the tickets before it sells out. You know what I mean? They might get a discount on those tickets. So if they get to open up for someone really big, they can still pay that $20. They're not paying that stadium fee. If they want to rock their clothes and show them a fan, no matter where they live around the world, they're going to use that NFT. It's going to give them access to buy merch that shows, hey, everyone else might have the black t-shirt. I got the red t-shirt because I'm a day one fan, and it might be, okay, that person is really known for sampling cool music, or for, writing something that's uncharacteristic or leading a musical subgenre. I wish I could ask them questions because I want to be just like them. And you can have like one-on-one Zoom experiences and conversations just like this, and creating a platform that you're not just a fan that owns a concert ticket that you can just put in your drawer, but really something that's ever changing and evolving, just like that musician. And yeah, they might not be returning your calls anymore, but at the same time, you might still get something throughout that journey. So like, that's one thing. It's kind of like that super VIP experience. And I learned that back in the day, a decade ago, when I worked with G-Eazy, he has like that James Dean look and aesthetic. And when he went on tour, he literally had people getting his haircuts. He brought his barber on tour with him, and his fans were buying his haircut and taking a photo with him. So I learned that a decade ago. I'm like, wow, as a, working on his team, like, people really want to, they see this world that he built and they really want to be part of it. And I'm like, you can do the same thing with the NFT. And that's what I'm building on.
Gold. How can we connect with you further, Melanie?
Yes, I have my socials, on all social media platforms. My name is Melanie. My name is Melanie. So MELKNEE. That's the best way to contact me, whether it might be there. Also, my personal fun email is sendmelmusic, SENDMELMUSIC, sendmelmusic. You can also email me there. I'm looking to, connect with, people who might be builders in the metaverse, who can give that, people who might be investors who want to invest in a company like this, people who, might come from a tech or a coding background, a developer who can help me build those things out. I know the musicians, I have the right contacts in that space by being a music executive, but I really want to connect more people in the tech space, more in the investment space, to make sure that not only can I make this reality, but really make it as big as it deserves to be.
That's so awesome. So gold. Thank you again, Melanie, for joining us today and sharing with us your insight and your light.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. I love this conversation so much. And thank you for giving me this platform to speak.
You're so very welcome. You're listening to GOLDen Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. That concludes today's session with Miss Melanie McClain. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you got that dose of inspiration that you were welcoming. And as always, reminding you, it is you who ultimately chooses to consciously express and to be gold, a genuine, original, loving dreamer. I'm doc.PEACE. Shine on.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it.